Hello everyone, welcome back to the Pink and Blue Podcast. Today we're on episode 14, and I'm Bluetoonz.
My name's Pink Boomerang.
And today we have a special guest with us. Would you like to introduce yourself?
What's up? I'm Jackson.
No, I'm Jackson.
We got two Jacksons here. This is going to be kind of confusing.
Yeah, this is a little weird.
I think we'll be good.
Yeah?
It's nothing we can't handle.
I don't know. I mean, this is a lot. We'll see what happens, I guess, right? Anyway, I got my question.
All right, go ahead.
The question is the only thing that matters here.
That's so true.
Here, where was it? Oh, here it is. Okay. You have made it onto the list for the FBI's most wanted people. What crime did you commit to get on the list? Let's hear it.
Oh. Jackson, would you like to go
Piracy.
first?
Yeah, I'll go. It's piracy for sure.
Piracy of what?
I pirated so many movies, but now I'm on FBI Most Wanted.
Like, I mean, what kind of movies are we talking here? Are we talking, like, Pirates of the Caribbean? Like, obviously, Disney's got a huge lockdown on the government. They basically are the government at this point.
Yeah, it's for sure Disney and Pixar, because they would whoop you.
They would annihilate you.
They would do anything in their power to find you, even if that means putting you on the FBI Most Wanted list.
You actually reverse engineered the entirety of Disney Plus so that you could watch all their movies for free.
No, it's just because I watched the movie I pirated the movie Rango 8 times.
That is a really good movie, though. Honestly,
no, it's not.
Rango's
what?
Yes, it is.
Are you kidding?
No, it's not.
Hold on, let me take this one. This is by far my favorite kids movie ever, and it's not even really a kids movie, right? It's
because they have guns.
Well, yeah.
Well, I don't know if that's not why it...
I mean, it's just a good movie. When was the last time you watched it?
When did it come out? It was
2013.
That's sad that you know that.
No, it's not, dude. He's watched it 8 times. It's his favorite movie.
Okay.
My favorite movie is also a kid's movie.
What?
It's Big Hero 6.
Great movie, too. That's 2 great choices.
Freaking love that movie.
My favorite kids movie is WALL-E, I think.
Okay, that's fair. That's a good choice, too. Pixar's got some good
WALL-E's
ones.
Good.
No, they don't.
All right. I got to answer this, though, while I'm still thinking about it. So if we're talking about crimes that you committed to get onto the FBI watch list.
Yeah.
Like something realistic, because I'm going to be openly honest about this. My 7th grade English teacher actually pirated a movie for us to watch in class. I don't even remember what movie it was, but she couldn't find it anywhere on Amazon. She was like, "You know what? We're just going to watch it up.
We're just going to look it up,
site.
Turn on incognito mode, no big deal."
And the FBI
Which
will
class
not be able
was
to
this
see us.
for?
Remember Mrs.
Yeah, I was it.
I don't remember what movie it was.
I vaguely think we were in that class together.
I think you're right.
But I can't remember what the movie was either, but I do remember that now.
It was some super obscure book, which is why she probably couldn't find the movie anywhere.
Yeah.
But it was weird.
I think it was the one we acted out, but anyways, yeah, keep going.
So it wasn't that's technically a crime that I have committed, because I was, I mean, it wasn't me directly pirating, but I did in fact benefit from the piracy. So I'm still an accomplice in the crime. So would it should I say piracy? Is that something that I could get on a watch list for? Or do I just want to be really cool?
Is pirating a movie something that gets you on the FBI's most wanted list?
I mean, probably not. I feel
multiple movies,
60% of people pirate at least one movie in their life.
Of course, but you see, what Jackson brought up is that it's just so many movies. It's too many to ignore.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why I would be on the most wanted list, because it's not just for one movie; it's for all the movies.
I'd like to think that it was actually just one movie. You pirated Rango on 67 separate occasions. They're all right, come on, we got to get this guy, dude.
This is too much.
He's watched Rango too many times.
He single-handedly just tanked the economy because no one's paying to watch Rango anymore. But I mean, in terms of just cool factor, I guess. I don't know, some sort of humongous heist.
Give us an example.
I don't know. I'm a big fan of heist movies and
So you pirate heist movies. There we go. That's it. We've done it. All right. Good answer.
That's what I got on the list for. No, but just the intricacies. There we go. there's a whole Rick and Morty episode just making fun of like heist movies and how stupid they are. And I will agree that some of them are really, really stupid and have lots of flaws. But there's some really good and like intricately made heist movies. Like, I don't know if you guys have seen Six Underground on Netflix. And I thought it was going to be really bad. Ryan Reynolds is in it and some other people. But it's a really, really well done movie about like this sick heist. And these people who are like reported to be dead, but they're still alive, so they form this like team and they just steal shit because they're literally off the grid because in terms of, you know, government records, they're actually dead. But it's just like a sick movie. So I think I would like to commit some like super elaborate heist. Like, I don't know, steal
The Declaration of Independence. That's a movie. There we go. We've done it.
When's the GTA 5 casino heist? Is that what you want to do?
Yeah, I think yeah, we'll go with that.
Recreate it, yeah.
I actually want to create the plot of National Treasure 3 by myself because I don't know what it is yet. But apparently it's in development, so we should get hyped for that.
It is.
Nicolas Cage.
I haven't seen either of the first two movies yet, but you know, I'm really hyped for number 3. Big fan of the series. Can't wait.
I'm actually a humongous fan.
Yeah. But anyway, you guys are talking about piracy. And I'm talking about a different kind of piracy, okay? What I would do...
Talking about like an actual pirate?
...is become an actual pirate. And what I do is I pull like a Captain Phillips, right? Or not really a Captain Phillips. But what I do is I go to, you know, the eastern shores of Africa. I gather
for sure.
Hundreds of people, give them lots of guns and bombs and a boat.
How are you supposed to get all of this?
Don't worry about it. So we get all this stuff, right? We rally these people, and then we go rob a giant, like one of those boats that carries oil or something. I don't know. Because, I mean, if I take away any country's oil, they're like, shoot, now we got to pay this guy, like, everything.
Everything, dude.
I mean, I don't know how much oil, like a giant...
It's kind of a lot.
It's a lot of money. I'm going to make a lot of money.
So, like, before we end this conversation, but, like, if you are a Somalian pirate, like, can you get on the FBI watch list if you don't really mess with the United States?
Well,
That's a great question.
The FBI meddles in every other country's affairs, even though they're not supposed to, so...
What do you mean, dude?
Yeah, I guess...
Go ahead.
I guess I don't know how the watch list works. So
and we aren't going to learn, and it doesn't matter, so...
That is very true.
Moving on.
I mean, you got a great point.
I don't know how to transition out of this.
Yeah, so I was going to talk about something, but I forgot what it was. And all of a sudden I remember. I've been playing Detroit Become Human.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And it's incredible. It was on the Steam sale, and it was only like $5 off, but like I was just like, hey, you know, it's on sale, I'm just going to buy it. And the thing that came to mind as I'm playing it is like, how would you guys feel about having chips like implanted in our bodies that like connected with our brains?
I know that this is sort of a weird take on it, but I am not entirely against the idea.
Explain.
So, go ahead.
So I feel like, in terms of ethicality, there are definitely issues which need to be examined, but the pure concept of the idea, I feel like, has a lot more positives to it, I guess, than negatives. At least if we can figure out how to successfully, let me think. I mean, successfully like implement the technology and not have it be in a damaging manner to people's like brains.
So here's my take. The biggest concern people have is like, now the government knows everything about you.
Yeah, that's even your thoughts.
Podcast, and they also talked about this, and the thing that they said is like, in terms of tracking you and like knowing what you do every day, the government can already do that because we all carry our phones around with us all the time. And the point this other person brought up was that like, if they don't have their phone on them, they have an Apple Watch on them or something, or they have their laptop with them or something, and so you're being tracked either way.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Like, I mean, yeah, there are some other issues, but like in terms of that, just give us the chip, put it in our bodies, and we'll see what happens.
I guess
feel
it
like
depends.
also-
What does
Go
the
ahead.
chip do, though? Like, what are we talking about here? Are we talking they put chips in our brains? Like, how does that help us, right? I get like, okay, maybe we give people chips in their eyes so they don't have to wear glasses, or like we put chips in their ears for not having to have hearing aids. But like, if it's in our brain, what does that do?
For me, it's like a novelty thing. Like, I want to start my car with my hand. Like, that's cool to me.
Okay.
That
And,
would
like,
be
it's-
sick.
it's-
Or like be able to
it's
point at a light
somewhat-
switch.
Yeah.
Ooh,
It's
okay.
somewhat unnecessary. Like, it's prime laziness. It's like Wally, like what you were talking about. Like, it's totally unnecessary, but it seems so cool.
I would honestly say that that's sort of what it is for me too. I mean, not even just. I feel like the monitoring of vital stats as well would also be extremely helpful, especially in a medical profession. Just be like, oh, shit, like my blood sugar's tanking. I mean, yeah, I know that we have that sort of, for people with diabetes, but even it would be way more accurate if we were actually able to translate, electron movements in the human brain into code to which we could like notify, and like maybe you get like a heads up display or something on your eyelids, hypothetically, totally hypothetically, but that just lets you know, like notifies you. It's like, hey, your blood sugar's low, or hey, your heart is, you're having a regular heartbeat, like please go to a health professional immediately. I feel like stuff like that is way more like just the implications in like the medical field of which we could possibly save people's lives. I feel like are also a very positive thing that we could do with that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, since you brought up like everyone has like a secondary device on them or whatever, or like I'm wearing an Apple Watch right now, and I'm sure Henry is too. But like,
How did you know?
but like monitoring just like regular health stats, right? Like just even your heartbeat. Obviously my watch can do that already, but more complicated stuff, that's obviously like a huge benefit to literally everyone, so whatever device you have on you or whatever, or if a notification pops up in your eyelid or something, you can be notified and you can be like, hey, go to the hospital. You may not know it, but you're having a heart attack. Like, that's pretty cool. But my thing is like, where does it, not cross the line, but where does it become inhumane to the point where it's like, okay, you know what? I don't really know about this one. I don't know about that one. You know what I mean?
I feel like
Yeah.
God.
I mean, I think it's tough because like I don't think we're to the point where like it's reading our mind or anything yet. But I feel like once it gets there, I don't want that. Like, I don't want everyone knowing what I'm thinking, because that's kind of when like it gets a little bit too scary for me. But I feel like them, like the government knowing my vitals or whatever, like I don't really care. I feel like that they could get that information if they wanted to already. Like the new Apple Watches have the heartbeat sensors, and people with diabetes have the blood sugar thing. So like if they wanted that information that bad, they could get it, no problem.
I mean, at the end of the day, we're talking about the government. They can get anything that they want, regardless of if you want them to have it or not. It just is a matter of, motives and having the rights to do it. But yeah.
They probably have it and we don't know. Like,
right.
I mean, I feel like at this point it's like, why would you worry about not trusting the government? Because even if you don't trust them, there's nothing you can really do. Like, what are you going to do, overthrow the government by yourself? It's not going to happen.
I feel like it's even more of like an ease of access thing that people are worried about. Like, the government can technically get your information by any means necessary because that is their obligation to do so. It's just that if we had those types of technological chips implanted in our brains, they could do it just on a whim, easily, like within seconds.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of stealing data, let's switch it up and talk about TikTok now. There's more.
You're a
there's
natural
more
at
talk
this.
in
Yeah, dude.
government. I know. More talk in government now about actually getting rid of TikTok in the United States. I know you guys talked about it last week, and what are your thoughts?
Okay, so I want to say I haven't read up on the recent news. I just remember what I read up about on like the India situation. They got rid of it over there, so I don't know what any of the new info is, but obviously I know they like steal data and stuff, and it goes to some Chinese company. But
I was going to say, I don't really know if there's that much new info. It's just more the fact that our government is actually considering banning it now.
yeah,
Like, it's not
Yeah,
that...
I guess. No, go ahead.
It's not that, new information has been discovered. Like, people are sort of becoming way more aware that TikTok has some serious spyware in it to monitor people's, whatever the TikTok algorithm contains to monitor what videos you like and what products you want to buy and whatever. I mean, every company has that. I guess not every company, but a lot of companies have that. They have ads that, monitor your search history and your Amazon search history and your YouTube search history and whatever, so they can recommend specific products to you. But TikTok goes to the point where I believe I saw a thing, not that Reddit is the most credible source of all time, but this guy on Reddit entirely recreated TikTok. He redistributed not redistributed. He reverse
made the algorithm.
Yeah, he made the TikTok algorithm and looked at the actual stats that are being monitored by TikTok, and they have location pinging every, I think, 30 seconds or something like that while you're using the app. And that, to me, I feel like is a lot more concerning than just being like, oh, this guy likes videos of hot girls doing dances.
Yeah, I guess to me, the first thing I have to say is that, I'm pretty impressed because the TikTok algorithm is, very impressive. I wouldn't call myself, a consistent user, but I do use TikTok, probably, once, maybe twice a day. And, if I like a video, I liked a video about tennis, a long time ago. And then all of a sudden, I would see more videos about tennis. And the more you like, the more you're going to see them.
Yeah,
and so,
exactly.
It's really impressive how they do that and how they pick up on it. The scary part, to me, is just that it's not an American company, and so that kind of makes me worried about international security and what you're saying about the location pinging. It's I'm cool with our government knowing where I am every 10 seconds. I don't know how I feel about China knowing where I am every 10 seconds, but I feel like they might already know anyways.
Yeah.
And this just makes it easier for them. So it's just it's just so confusing because we don't have all the information.
Yeah, that's fair. My main concern, though, is obviously the government is just getting to talking about this now, and TikTok is, I forget how long TikTok has been out, but I mean, obviously
they're 2017.
Yeah. So the thing is, the reason the government has to have a reason to want to look at this now instead of when it came out, because nothing really changed between the time it came out and right now. It's had the same base. Well, I mean, maybe stuff has been changed in the algorithm and stuff, minor stuff, right? But nothing major has changed about the app in a way where it would they just randomly dumped a bunch of spyware in one update. So it's
yeah,
why
so it's been there.
Yeah, right. So it's why is the government just thinking about this now? Is that because India had banned it and that gave it kind of more attention in other governments, or is it because they found some information that the public doesn't know about, even though we know about all this other stuff,
I guess I think it's probably because our government's just a little bit slow to act on
that
things.
Could be that
and
too.
And so I kind of feel like they're just it's been out for 2.5 years, and they're just oh wow, this could be really bad. Maybe we should look into it. And all the people who already knew were just yeah, we told you this 2.5 years ago, and you're just now thinking about it.
Now that it's only
Also,
popular, it's... Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. No, you're good. I feel like the reason that it came to light, though, was because the app actually became so popular, and people were like, yeah, why is this app so popular? I wonder what the algorithm is. And then as they started to, delve into the code of the app, they were like, shit, there's, some bad tracking and spyware in here that we should probably make the government aware of. I know that our government is historically, pretty slow to get to some things just because of the feuds between political parties in Congress and that type of thing. But this is an issue that's not really, it's not a political thing. It's more just hey, your citizens are being spied on. We should probably stop that. It doesn't matter if you're Democratic or Republican. I'm pretty sure that no one wants to have their information taken by a foreign nation.
Mm-hmm. The sad thing to me is that, I feel like the app is really good. And so to me, it feels a little bit unfortunate that, people who gain, such a big following on the app are just kind of going to have that thrown away unless they developed something else on another platform in time. But, I feel like the app is designed so well that, really anyone can, blow up on there without being, they don't have to really have any talent. They can just, be on the app and get lucky, and all of a sudden they have this huge follower base. And it's just, I wish there was like some other app that wasn't shady that people could go to now and like still get a follower base that easily.
Actually, I didn't even consider that, because I agree with you, because I think that TikTok is probably the easiest platform to gain like a big following on, especially considering how YouTube is nowadays, and even like Twitch. Like, how are you supposed to, without the TikTok algorithm being there, gain followers as fast? Like, the TikTok algorithm is the only one that I'm pretty sure it recommends your video to like 500 different For You pages when you make it, regardless of how many followers you have. And like, if the people like the video, you know, it's like, oh, hey, this is gaining more traction, we'll send it to more people. YouTube, it's more just like, all right, you made a video on this like specific niche, we might show it to some people of these niches, but like, you only have maybe 5 subscribers, so most people probably aren't going to see it.
I mean, other platforms, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but on Instagram, I never use the Explore page.
Yeah, I don't either.
I mean, on Twitter, like, Twitter does a little bit of a better job, but like YouTube, I've posted videos on YouTube before, and it's incredibly hard for me to find anyone new on YouTube, and they really don't push new creators at all.
No, not even.
And so it's like, it's pretty impressive that TikTok could find a way to like get people who have never done any type of social networking before and get them famous so quick. It's well designed.
Yeah, that's a really interesting point. I think ultimately, though, that could also end up being just a flaw of theirs in general. Like, just because so many people can get famous so quickly, it's like, how do you sort through, you know, what content you actually enjoy and what's just complete utter garbage, you know? Like, there is stuff like, okay, you like something and then it's highly likely to send you something similar to look at, but I don't know.
I feel like they do a good job. Like, whenever I use it, I rarely find content that I'm just like, wow, like, why are they showing me this? And when I do, like, they have a button that can say, like, don't show me this again. And, like, I've used it enough now to the point where it's tailored almost perfectly to me, where, like, every post I'll see, I'll be like, it's either interesting or it's, like, or it's funny or something, to the point where, like, I'll like that one too. And I'll just keep liking these posts because they got it right somehow.
That's what I mean. It's super technologically impressive what they've done with the app. It's just really unfortunate that it happens to also be filled with spyware. Like, TikTok could be the perfect platform for loads of people to get their ideas out there and get whatever creative ambitions they have out into the world. But the problem is that it just happens to be filled with spyware. Yeah,
I mean, if we had the same app, and let's say we get rid of like just a little bit of the spyware, and then it was an American company, it'd still be here. No big deal. No questions asked.
For sure.
Like, I mean, even, you know, people still use Facebook, and they've had all the controversies and whatnot. Pretty much everything under the sun you could think of.
See, but they're not being banned by the United States government.
Right, but that's just because they're an American company. That's what I'm saying. Like,
exactly.
Because it's a Chinese company, and our relationship with China is, you know, interesting. It's a little dicey. So, I don't know. I think that affects it a little bit, but at the same time, we also care about our data, or at least some people do. So,
yeah, I guess it's just tough. Other topics, just to switch it up. Do you guys have anything?
What were we talking about? What was the thing we were talking about before we started that we wanted to?
Well, we were talking about Webkinz.
Oh, yes, Webkinz.
One other topic I want to hit on.
Okay.
While we're on the topic of like social medias and stuff, I want to talk about Dr. Disrespect.
Okay.
And if you guys have any thoughts on that situation.
I actually am not 100% informed as to why he got kicked off the platform.
No one knows.
No one knows, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure.
So, I actually like rarely watch Twitch. Like, I've recently been on there a little bit more to watch XQC and Moist Critical play chess, because I've just been like super into that recently. But other than that, like, I watched Dr. Disrespect like maybe once, and like I've watched those big Fortnite streamers. That's how they got big, like once or twice. But just hearing about like this story about Dr. Disrespect, it's so interesting to me, because he just got like kicked off the platform and nobody has any clue why.
Yeah, I mean, Twitch is super weird because contrary to, I mean, this kind of goes back to what we were talking about with algorithms, but kind of similar, like on YouTube and even Twitter to some extent, they have an algorithm that pushes people out there, and Twitch just does not have that at all. You're not really recommended to people unless you're a super big streamer and you get an email from Twitch saying, hey, we're just gonna like put you on the front page if that's cool, you know. Apart from that, the only way people discover you is through your outside sources, so, you know, having a YouTube or a Twitter or whatever, and then just like people browsing through like a different category or whatever, which is very rare. Yeah. So, but Twitch has always had like a really dicey relationship with how it handles its misconduct of streamers. So like, you know, I mean, I'm not going to go into it, but Alinity, you know, that's a big name that a lot of people don't like.
Classic.
And she stays on and is not banned for some reason after all the stuff she's done.
She banned herself.
Wait,
she
what?
literally went so far. Yeah, did you not? I don't even remember. She was like, yeah, you know what? I'm just going to ban myself for a few days. Like, I'm taking a break. I'm sorry for, like, what I've done.
Okay.
Like, literally, Twitch would not ban her. And she was like, yeah, I'm taking a break. Like, sorry.
I'll do it myself.
But, I mean,
that's
like,
what I mean.
I'm thinking
there's gotta
back
be something
to,
wrong.
Right. Going back to not even that long ago when Ninja joined Mixer. Now Mixer's gone. But when he did join Mixer, there was the whole debacle of Twitch went to Ninja's specific link. Like everyone on Twitch has their own link to go to their channel or whatever. So they went to twitch.tv/mixer, or not Mixer, twitch.tv/ninja. And what they did was, I forget the exact wording they had, but it was something to the tune of, your favorite streamer isn't on this platform anymore. And then they just turned his entire page into a page hosting other people. And then there was this whole point of like one of the channels was just like a Russian porn channel that got banned, and Ninja was like, "Why I don't understand why this happened." So it's like, I don't know. Twitch is weird with how they deal with all that stuff. So who knows? But
yeah, I guess the tough thing, and like what I've picked up on most of it, is that nobody knows what he did. But Twitch is like, in their terms of service and stuff, they can just permaban someone and they don't have to give a reason.
Yeah.
So like if they give out like a month ban or something, they typically do say, and even for permabans they typically say as well. But like they don't have to, and so they can just pull this and nobody knows what happens. And for some reason, Dr. Disrespect has no idea what happens supposedly, and so it's like, well, like, what is going on? Like, how does nobody know why he got banned?
He made a tweet saying that Twitch emailed him and like he understands why he was banned now, but he didn't say. So it's like,
when was that?
I don't know. I swear I saw a tweet, but anyway.
Well, I saw he put out one tweet that was like, yeah, here's the most recent one. Champions Club Twitch not notified me on the specific reason behind their decision. Firm handshakes for all the support during this difficult time. So he put out a tweet saying he still doesn't know, and that was June 27th. So over. That was like
2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And so it's been almost 3 weeks, and he's just gone. He completely disappeared.
Yeah, I mean, I think the problem is a lot of people who stream on Twitch as like their full-time job or whatever, they look at as Twitch as like their employer, when in reality Twitch is a company that runs a service that anyone's free to use, and they don't really owe you shit. Like they aren't an employer. They don't own you or whatever, and you don't you don't have a right for them to give you anything back. So in that respect, it makes sense what Twitch is doing. But at the same time, it's kind of ridiculous knowing the relationship they have with some of their bigger streamers.
That's what I mean, though. Like, people like Dr. Disrespect bring viewers to the platform of Twitch. So you would expect Twitch to, in turn, treat them with respect. But, like, we've heard time and time again from multiple different streamers that are like, yeah, Twitch is just kind of shit.
That's a good point, though, because what does Twitch really get out of banning him permanently if it's not something that, like, has to be done? And I don't know if either of you guys watched a clip of the end of his last stream, but it was really weird. He was sitting there and he was just like, like talking about like right-wing conspiracies and like hyping up his little crowd and being like, all right guys, like we're gonna get through this, it's fine. And I think like the last thing he like looked down on his phone and the last thing he said was like, we're gonna get through this, or like Champions Club, we got this, or something, and then just ended the stream. And so like to me, that makes me think he knows what he did, and it was probably really, really, really bad.
That's an interesting point. I don't watch him, so I don't like know his whole shtick. I don't know what his main content is like, so I can't really say anything on that, but that's interesting.
Yeah, he's just a weird dude, and if you ever get the chance to like watch that clip of him at the very end, definitely do it, because it is wild to say the least.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't personally watched him. I feel like I've seen some clips, and he definitely seems like someone who might say something that could get Twitch into a little bit of trouble, I guess. And I mean, I feel like them banning him is just a way for them to like cover themselves. But I honestly, if no one knows why and they haven't come public about it, and even he doesn't know, like he claims that he doesn't know, but as you said, he looked at his phone at the end of that clip and was like, all right guys, like see ya or whatever. Like he's got to know, right?
Yeah, that's what I think. And he had a big controversy a while ago when like he cheated on his wife.
Yeah, he cheated on his wife.
Like obviously
I did hear
that's
about
not
that.
a bannable offense.
Yeah.
I actually didn't know that.
The great part when that happened was that that was when he was playing Fortnite, and during one of the games someone killed him and the username popped up and it was Dr. Disrespect His Wife or something, and it was like he flipped out.
Oh my
and so
God.
the dude has a short temper for sure.
Oh yeah.
But like cheating on your wife isn't something that's going to get you permabanned from Twitch. I don't think that's in terms of service anywhere.
Yeah.
So
I mean, maybe if you do it on stream, I mean.
yeah, that could be a permaban offense.
Yeah. I don't know.
I mean,
It's a weird situation. Like, it's all theories, so at the end of the day, and there's no way to really know unless he tells us, but
Maybe he might not even be legally allowed to tell us. So that's
he might be under like an NDA or something.
Well, and if he did something illegal, it's probably pretty embarrassing for him to like just go telling it. So I don't know if he's wanting to like release information if Twitch isn't going to. Maybe he'll just like take his medicine and we're never going to hear from him again.
Yeah.
I feel like there was a clip that I watched online though, and someone said that they knew what he did, but they like couldn't say anything for like 2 weeks or something like that. So I guess even eventually, if he doesn't come public about it, if this person is telling the truth, we'll know what he did in like 2 weeks' time.
Yeah, it's so tough because this is like such a hot topic that there's been all these videos like of people saying like, oh, I know what he did, but like they don't.
They don't.
I don't know how you would. Like the one guy, I think I know which one you're talking about, Henry, where the guy was like, he used to work at Twitch or something weird like that. It's like, well, but why would you share this information? Why wouldn't you be able to share it now? And why would you share it in 2 weeks? Like, I don't understand. And why wouldn't, if you can share it in 2 weeks, why won't Twitch share it in 2 weeks? It's just weird.
Yeah, my uncle works
true.
at Nintendo, and he knows what the next Smash DLC character is going to be.
Oh, dude, that's sick.
It's Rango.
Dr. Disrespect is actually the next Smash character. He had to leave to practice.
Right, now Nintendo's going to come out with their own streaming service, and Dr. Disrespect will be full-time on Nintendo.live.
I'm going to be honest. If Nintendo came out with a streaming service, I am quite sure that it would be very bad.
It would. Considering how bad their servers are.
Yeah.
Anyways, can we talk about Webkinz gambling?
Let's talk about Webkinz gambling.
Can you just explain yourself? We were talking about this
topic.
Before we started, and we stopped you because I mean, we need you to put yourself in the limelight here. Just explain.
Yeah. So the first thing I can say is if you Google Webkinz games and go to images, it looks like you're in a casino because everything is bright and it's all this stuff. And so, for people that don't know, and I don't know how you wouldn't, but Webkinz is like this, I guess, kids game, I would say, where for the most part you're just kind of like customizing your house and like adopting new animals and stuff. But there's one part of the game where you can just go play these mini games, and I swear to you, like a majority of the games are just gambling for kids. And I mean it when like some of them are literally slots. Like there's a slot machine and you pull the lever and it spins and you get coins if you win.
And it costs
I'm looking at it
real money
right
to
now.
play these games. Real money.
Well,
Okay.
well,
Well,
yeah, I guess to play it multiple times. I don't know if they have microtransactions in this or not.
in 2020, Webkinz.
But it does cost the in-game money, and that's like, in some cases, hard to acquire. So it's pretty crazy.
I just think there've been a lot of things with like gambling for kids in the past like few years. There was that whole controversy with like Jake Paul and Rice Gum being like, "Yeah, you guys should go check out this mystery box site, and you'll
That's
probably
exactly
win like
what
an
I was
Aston
thinking
Martin."
about.
Yeah.
It's like, no,
Well,
you
remember-
won't.
Wasn't Overwatch banned in some countries because of the loot boxes and stuff?
Yep.
And now, like, the EA controversy of, like, all the pay-to-win stuff, and it's just, like, loot boxes, and so...
Yeah.
Oh yeah, in
It's
Star
been
Wars
a hot
Battlefront
topic for a
2,
while.
they had
Yeah.
the loot boxes, and then people got so mad at them that they retracted the ability to pay for loot boxes. So you can
Yeah.
because Star Wars Battlefront 2 is a game where if you pay and you have the money, it quite literally makes you better at the game.
Yeah, it
It's
does,
not
which is
fair at
obviously
all.
very unfair.
Yeah, but that's just EA, but it's just crazy. Like, all these other games have been in the spotlight, and no one's been talking about Webkinz, so
No one's
I'm
been
gonna
talking
sue.
about Webkinz.
No one's
I'm
really
gonna
bringing this
sue
to light.
Webkinz.
Well,
No, I couldn't sue Webkinz. I would feel so bad. It's such like a great memory. It's something I forget about for the longest time, and then I'll just all of a sudden remember. I couldn't sue Webkinz.
it's an old
Yeah.
game
I
you
actually
haven't
sort of
played
forgot
in a
about it.
while, and you've got a lot of nostalgia for it. And now, just every couple years, we got to go back. We got to go play through the Webkinz main campaign. It's a really great story.
No, but just like last year, I hopped on and played some of these games, and like they're still fun. Like, some of these mini games are like games you can buy on Steam, but just like adapted for kids. And some
Have,
of them
like-
are like actually hard too. It's kind of cool.
The FTF2 Webkinz.
Yeah, they do. CS:GO and any of them. Yep. Minecraft.
Webkinz is actually just the Steam store, but just like everything is retextured.
But everything is a kid's game.
It's just modded Steam.
I remember they changed like the ESRB, the company that rates video games, that gives games their ratings. They changed one of their rules to make gambling, like if your game has gambling in it, then you up the rating. So in the newer Pokemon games, like Gen 7 and, or not Gen 7, but like the Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire remakes, in the original games, there's a place where you can go gamble, but that place in the game is now closed, so they could keep the rating for the game.
Seriously?
Yeah, that's a real thing. Which is kind of insane when you think about it.
Yeah, I forgot about that actually.
Yeah. Like a lot of the older Pokemon games had games where you could gamble, but now they don't have any.
I was to say, well,
Because
a
they'd
lot of
have to
games had
change
that.
their
People
rating,
got-
and they want to keep the rating.
Well, people got furious because, I mean, obviously a large percentage of video game audiences are made of kids. Like, adults have jobs and they have things that they need to do. And sometimes kids just want to sit at home and play video games. Myself included.
It's weird when it's Pokemon because it's not gambling real money. It's just gambling in-game money, which you can make back very easily.
That's true. But, I mean, the
Yeah, I
moment
guess
that
it's just like the habits.
Yeah, actually, yeah, no. That definitely impacts. Because if you start it at a young age, it's like, oh, hey, I mean, I might as well just go to the casino and, like...
Yeah, that's fair.
If you develop this, this thought process that it's like, oh, yeah, well, I played Pokemon and I got all my money back, so, like, maybe if I spend all my real money at the casino, I'll make it back.
If I just
And then
keep
you're just
gambling,
homeless for
I'll
the
be
rest of your
richer.
life.
That's just how it works.
I'll eventually just win $2 billion, dude. I mean, why not?
Exactly.
But yeah,
I guess this is kind of a little bit off topic, but Henry, you said something about how like you like playing video games and like people just like playing video games and that's kind of the fun of it. And I just kind of feel like people don't always realize that like video games is in some cases is just like such an escape and it can just bring so many different things. And people say like, oh, it's just like a nerdy thing or it's something that people just do to like hang out with each other, but like you can get really immersed in like a game world and like not really have to deal with real life for just however long you're playing. And I feel like there is an appeal, but it does have to be monitored. Like with the gambling, you can't just like be teaching kids that money is expendable and you can just toss it wherever you want and gamble your real life money away.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, separating the lines between reality and, like, a game world is definitely very important, especially at a young age where kids are still, mentally developing and learning about the world. But in terms of, like, gaming as more of an escape and a platform, I feel like people don't really recognize the potential. And I don't want to sound like a preacher and be like, yeah, actually, video games are really good for you. Like, you should play video games all the time. But video games can almost even be like an art form. I would say that, there are a lot of really, really beautiful indie games that contain like super colorful or even like some monotone like stylings that are super, super intricate and look like works of art. Or even like games like The Last of Us. Not the second one. I heard it's bad. But the first one, which just, told a really, really like interesting and not necessarily relatable, but an interesting and immersive story that people learn to love. Like, there are games like that. Like you said, you're playing Detroit Become Human. When I haven't actually played it, but even just watching videos of people play that game, I got, like, immersed in the world. I was like, that's so sick. Like, someone had to put in a lot of time and effort just to make the art and the music and the characters. And it's almost like a movie in some ways. Like, people can play video games just for entertainment, just like they can watch movies and TV.
Oh, 100. And I think the great thing, and at least for me, like, I play all different types of games. And so, like, I'll play a story game like this and play it for, like, a week straight. Or, like, Mario Odyssey or Spider-Man PS4. And those games where, like, I would be excited to come home from school or work or whatever, to get back into this game world and play it. But then, on the other end, like, you can play multiplayer, too. And I've formed, like, some of my best friendships playing video games with people and then transferring it into the real world and like actually hanging out with them in real life. I know that's a crazy topic for some gamers, but there's just a lot of like, there's so many things that you can do that it's right for everyone. And there's a lot of people that say like, oh, I'm never going to play a video game, but like my 7-year-old grandma plays Farmville on Facebook on her computer and like she loves it. It's something she loves doing. She doesn't have her husband passed away, and she does it all the time. It's such a great escape for her, and so like it really can be for everyone. I think, honestly, if you ask me, I think everyone should like give it a try and find something they like to do.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
I mean.
Games they're really special in the way that like games are entertainment, right? Just like before we had games, television shows were entertainment, and movies, and before that, people just writing piano symphonies is entertainment, and plays are entertainment. So games are just the next way in which we experience entertainment. So in that form, it's art. And games, apart, like, obviously through any form of entertainment, you can bond with other people because you can relate to them with that they like this one scene in this movie or this one song is really good. But games are cool in a way because it's interactive more than any other like form of entertainment. So it's through games you get really raw experiences that you can't really get in any other way, which makes them special because it's a way to bring people together. And there's so many different types of games, just like there's so many different types of television shows or music or like painting. I don't know. But it's really special in the way that it really brings people together, and we can bond over just this different form of entertainment, so it's art.
Yeah, I would say, I mean, especially just the different variety. Like, I know a lot of people aren't really open to playing video games. They're like, oh, that's for nerds or whatever. But, like, there's such an amazing variety of games that you're bound to find something that you like. There are literally hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of different video games. There's no way that you can't find a single one that you're like, nah, these are all stupid. Like, there's just such a wide appeal and a great variety. Just like there are a great variety of different types of people. I mean, we all like different types of things, and you should definitely be able to find a game that contains those aspects that appeal to you. Right.
I mean, some people, I think, use the argument like, oh, there's too many buttons, the controls are too complicated. But I don't think even that really is a good argument, because there are games that are really simple. There are games that you can play on your phone that's just swipe left and right or tap or, whatever. So it's like, games are easy. They're not all super complicated. It's just the most popular ones happen to be more complicated, like Fortnite and Just Dance. I don't know.
I feel like the tough part too is like kind of the stigma behind it, because I feel like if you, and I don't know if this is true or not, but I feel like if you were to look up video game on Google, the first thing that would come up is like League of Legends or something like that, and people see that and the first thing they think is like, oh, that's a nerdy game or something like that, when in reality there's so many video games that the odds that you don't like any of them are so slim. Like, even if you look at like coolmathgames.com, like every kid I know in school has played a game on coolmathgames.com. That's just how it goes. So like everyone has played a video game. Some people just don't realize that they're playing a video game and that there's more to offer for whatever they like to do.
Yeah, some people obviously there are a lot of people that say mobile gaming isn't real gaming because it's on a phone, but they are real games. I mean, I guess it depends on what you define as a game, right? But they are real games, like.
Yeah, and I don't even understand why people even make that argument. I feel like if someone enjoys what they're doing and they like doing it, just leave them be, let them do it. And if they want to call it a video game, let them call it a video game. I don't see how it really hurts you at all.
Yeah.
And I feel like people do that a lot nowadays, where they try and like gatekeep whatever it is they like to do. If someone likes to do it and they're calling it what you don't like, who cares? It's not your business. Just let them do whatever they want.
Yeah. At the end of the day, I think also games are kind of like, it's a generational thing, right? Like a lot of older people just don't really understand it. Video games are still a really new medium. I mean, they only really go far as back as like 1970s, maybe 1980s, depending on where you want to count what as a video game, but it's a generational thing. Some people just don't get it. They can't get into it. And as time goes on, then the medium will expand and more people will be interested in it. Now, I mean, we have things as big as the League of Legends World Championships, who had more viewers than the Super Bowl did, like last year or whatever. So it's a new market that people are just going to have to get used to. It's the future.
Yeah, and I feel like also what you were talking about with, if people like a certain type of game, like a lot of the stigma, even within people who generally like video games, like some people enjoy mobile games. They're like, oh, that's stupid. But I feel like that applies to a lot more than just video games. Like, you shouldn't necessarily make fun of, what people like to do, or even just people themselves, just because, they're different than you. Like, there are reasons that people are different than you. We're all supposed to be different. If we were all the same, life would be super, super boring. We're supposed to celebrate our differences, and, that's why people have these differences, so we can discuss and we can, make change and positively interact with one another. But I feel like, the idea of not making fun of someone just for liking someone, or it's not someone, something, like the whole thing with Fortnite back in the day was like, people were like, oh, well, that game's for like 12-year-olds. Like, it was really popular, and then people stopped playing it, and they were like, oh, you still play Fortnite? But it's like, who cares if you play Fortnite? Like, if you enjoy it and you like doing it, then so what? Like, some of my friends, I was like, oh, yeah, I have a TikTok. Like, I think there are some funny videos in there. And they're like, dude, oh, you use TikTok? That's so cringe. But, like, if there's stuff on there that I want to watch and, like, it's funny, like, who cares? Like, why does that impact you?
Yeah, and even going back to, like, TikTok or really anything, there's so many different things. And, like, just because, like, people make these statements and they don't really know everything about it. I've heard so many people say that, like, oh, why do you use TikTok? And I show them, I'm like, here, look, like, I guarantee this first post I pull up, you're going to think it's hilarious. And they do, because there's just so many things on there. And that's the same with video games, and that's the same with movies or whatever. It's just how you interpret it, and if you're giving it a try. And if you give it a try and don't like it, then cool, I wouldn't even say you wasted your time. You got to experience something totally new. But if you feel like you wasted your time, you wasted your time. You don't have to do it again. But I don't like that people are so quick to make statements about things that they don't fully understand yet.
I feel like that's almost just a life skill in general. Like, it transcends even, like, entertainment. It's just about life in general. Like, you shouldn't make assumptions before you even try something. I mean, unless you're doing something deadly where you're like, oh, I think I would probably die if I jump off that bridge. Like, yeah, no shit, don't do that. But if it's like, oh, maybe I should try this new food for the first time, or like, oh, maybe I should go meet some new people or experience new, I don't know, go to a new town, meet some new people, do some new things. Like, that's what helps you grow as a person. Challenging your comforts and your norms and what you're used to is how you grow and learn. And we're not going to be able to do that as people ever if we stay inside our own comfort zones and we're like, yeah, I only like this and this, and if anyone else likes anything else, they're stupid.
That's what life is. I feel like you just gotta try new things. There's so much to life, and there's so many places we'll never see, and there's so many things we'll never do. Just try as many as you can.
If you don't like it, you don't like it. At least you tried.
Yeah, that was a nice deep.
Wow.
conversation.
Yeah, that went a lot deeper than I thought it was going
We
to.
talked about video games and then TikTok and then the meaning of life.
I have a good new topic.
Okay.
I don't know how familiar you guys are. Well, does anyone else have a topic first? We're running low on time. I want to make sure we're not skipping.
No, go right ahead, please.
No, please.
You're our special guest.
The special one.
guest.
You're also the first
great.
one. I don't think we mentioned that, but you hold that honor. You will hold this title for the rest of eternity.
And feel free to come back if you'd like.
Anytime. Please.
So anyway, I'm not sure how familiar you guys are with the Rubik's Cube, but there's a documentary coming out in the end of July about two of debatably the greatest speed solvers of all time who kind of like changed the thing. And I just kind of thought about like how games have developed over the years and like how there's been so many different mediums and being physical ones like that. And it's something I'm not very familiar with, but I'm not really sure where I'm going with this, but I just kind of think it's something
cool.
pretty impressive. I don't know how familiar you guys are, but it's
not
cool to me.
familiar. But yeah, Rubik's Cubes are cool. Some people are just really talented at stuff. Like, I know there's people who can do like the 4x4 or the 5x5 Rubik's Cubes, which is like just insane. And then there's also people who can like look at a cube and then blindfold themselves and then solve it, which is insane.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know. It's all crazy.
Yeah, in middle school, I went on a pretty big stint where I was like I figured it out and I got into like all the speed solving and stuff. And it's a great community. They do well, obviously they can't do them now due to the virus and all that stuff, but there's a lot of like tournaments and stuff you could go to. There was one in Shaker Heights that I went to back in like 8th grade, and the community is incredible. It was so cool. I was there, first one I had ever been to, and it took me like 45 seconds to solve it. And then the guy came up behind me, and he was like ranked top 15 in the world, and he did it in like 6 seconds, and it was the coolest thing I had ever seen in my life. And then he literally told me, he was like, "You're doing a good job, keep going." And it's just such a great community, and I wish there were more communities like that, and I'm sure there are, but it's just something that's pretty impressive that I don't think a lot of people know about.
Yeah, I feel like there are a lot of little niches, and like, I know that this is sort of similar, but like, when people speed stack cups, like, I think that shit is so cool. Like, I've never done it, but if you watch videos of people like speed stacking and then like lowering down all the cups, it's so cool and it's so intricate. And there are so many like physical games like that and communities around them. And I feel like, it's not something that you have to expose yourself to in life, but like, again, if you're looking for something new to try, it's really cool. And there's usually, since they're not as popular and not as popular, but not as, overinflated and that type of thing. Like, people who do it are really into it and they want to get other people into it. So there's more of a positive community around it.
Yeah. You mentioned speed stacking. Actually, I have a little history with speed stacking. I forget if it was 7th or 8th grade, but in gym class, we had a unit on speed stacking cups. And no joke, we had a little kind of mini tournament between our class, or like the two classes, right, of, like the best speed stacker. And I did get first placed, and that's all I'm going to say about that, because I'll never find a chance to ever mention this again. So
I didn't know that we were amongst the champion.
Well, I haven't done it since then, so I'm probably really bad now, but, I did do that.
That's impressive.
Wow. He's a god amongst men.
I don't know about that.
Dude, I had no clue.
Let's not start a religion now.
I feel like going back to like Rubik's Cubes and speed solving, that's one of the other things people have a stigma about. It. You have to be good at math to do that, or it's a lot of work, or something I'll never be able to do. Back in 7th or 8th grade, I can't remember right now, I think it was 7th grade, I spent one weekend and I learned how to solve a Rubik's Cube. And in the next week, I brought my time down to under a minute. And so I think, I don't know how many people are going to be listening, but I feel like if you are listening and it's something you've ever thought about trying, just do it. There's an incredible amount of resources to get started. And it's a sick party trick, I'm not going to lie, to like show people, like, if someone has one sitting on their counter and you just go solve it for them, they'll be pretty impressed. I can almost guarantee that. So, and there's a lot of hobbies like that. I've been playing chess recently just for fun, and I never ever thought I would be getting into chess. There's just so many like small niches, and if you just find one that you enjoy, just do it and keep doing.
Yeah, chess is a really good example of a really like niche hobby, kind of, because like most schools have like a chess club, right? But most people don't really know anything about it or interact with it at all. And I'm not in the chess club, but I love chess. Chess is great. Chess is a great strategic game. There's a lot more to chess than a lot of people think. And you know, I'm not the biggest chess player. Like, I don't play every day or anything, but chess is fun, and there's a lot to it if you give it a chance. Just like a lot of different hobbies. So it's just, you know, devoting a little bit of time and putting a little bit of effort in, and you can get really good at something.
When I told Henry too, like 3 or 4 weeks ago, I started getting pretty big into like learning chess and playing on chess.com and stuff. And I would say I'm still terrible. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I'm still terrible. I played for like 2 weeks. But just in that short span of time, the resources online and all that stuff, I got so much better. And that's the beauty of now that we have the internet and all these things, that you can pick up a new skill so fast, and you can be really good at it, or you can just be mediocre, and that's fine. But whatever brings you joy, there's so many options to go do what you want to do.
I mean, I played both of you and I still lost, so I don't know if we can say that I'm a chess professional or anything. But the times that I did play, it's a fun game. I forgot how interesting chess is.
Yeah, I mean, even similar, like different games, like, you know, I don't know, checkers and backgammon and whatever, they all have a lot of strategy to it, but because they're board games, and, you know, board is in the word, obviously, so they aren't the most appealing or interesting looking things, but a lot of them have a lot of really interesting strategies. Or even like, because I picked up 51 Clubhouse Games on the Switch recently. There's a game called Shogi, which is basically chess, but with a few different rules. And that game has been really fun. And there's a lot of stuff like that doesn't get really a lot of attention. So
yeah, so that brings us into our sponsor, Skillshare.
Nope, no, no.
We're
Maybe
not
one day.
Sponsored by Skillshare. But we are sponsored by today's sponsor, Honey. Now, if you go to our discount... Yeah, no, I wish.
We can't do this. We're going to ruin our chances, I tell you.
Dude, what if we just give them a sponsorship? Like, you don't have to pay us. Just, like... Just give us an
affiliate. Just have us do it.
Sponsor.
We'll just do it anyway.
Let's not.
I mean,
I feel like that's
companies.
not a good business practice.
I feel like it's definitely not. You're right.
Just free sponsorships.
Yeah.
Hey, we'll shout you out.
We'll just do one for free.
Because then they're not going to email us. They're just going to be like, well, I mean, they're doing it for us, so...
That's the thing, though.
Eventually
Maybe
we'll get
other
to our
companies
business.
will email us because they'll be like, "Oh, these guys are doing free sponsorships," and we'll be like, "Oh, pranked! You actually got to pay $50."
You have to pay $50 to do a sponsorship.
Oh, okay. Well, I know that they're normally more than that, but whatever. We need to start small, okay? We get like an average of maybe like, I don't know.
Don't say the
20
number.
views.
Don't say it.
Nope.
Don't say it.
Nope, I won't. I'm being quiet. It depends on the episode.
Because 10 years down the line, when we're still doing this podcast, we can't appear small. We have to appear like we're talking to 300 million people.
Yeah, that's
10
true.
years, man.
You know, I someone on Twitter was like, don't tweet like you have 2 followers because then your tweets will suck. You have to tweet like you have 100,000. Which is
That's fair, dude.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's what you have to do with everything in life. You have to, do your job like you're the best at what you do.
Yeah, because eventually you will be the best at what you do.
Because then others will see, you are the best. Yeah,
that's true.
No, it's a process, and I think with most social platforms, besides TikTok, obviously, it's a process, and you can't really get lucky. You just have to keep going, and I feel like podcasting is tough because it's hard to get new people to listen, and so I think it grows by word of mouth, and I think you guys do a pretty good job of that, and just like Henry getting me to listen, and now I've talked to like my parents about it, and I talked to some of my friends about it, and they'll listen to the next episode. It's a slow process, but eventually, like, you can do it if you really want to.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like Twitch streaming. Like, you know, Twitch obviously doesn't put you out there, so you have to get yourself out there. So it's a lot of self-driven stuff, you know?
Yeah, it's just about consistency in the end.
Right.
You know, as long as you're consistent and you stay consistent about something and you put the effort in, I mean, it'll eventually become to something. You know,
Right.
We might not get like millions of subscribers. Well, I mean, we will, but you know, you might not get millions of subscribers and millions of views, but you know, as long as you're passionate about what you're doing and you enjoy it, you can do it for however long you want.
Well, thank you everyone for listening, and thank you, Jackson, for joining us once again, our first guest. It was a pleasure. You're welcome back anytime, but next time you're gonna have to pay us to be here. I'm not gonna lie. Like, we're gonna need some compensation.
We're gonna need
for
some
your
compensation
efforts.
for sure.
All right,
Right.
so then you guys won't be seeing me again, actually.
Okay. Well, good riddance. But anyway, thank you everyone so much for listening. You can find us on YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, and SoundCloud. Our socials are in the description as usual. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.